about, again, the
Go,
Goa
Goa,
brothers
yeah.
is a classic case. I mean, at 12:04, the fire begins to break out. By 1:17,
They book
these
tickets.
fellows have booked their tickets. And by 2 o'clock, they're at the airport. By 5:30 in the morning, they're gone. I mean, they basically had no intention of facing the law of this country. Now, it so happens that there was so much outrage, at what these guys did, that I think the state, the police, they were forced to act. They were forced to send teams
completely.
there. They had no choice because it's like cocking a snook at the law, right? You're saying, I'm rich enough, I can get away with it.
But at least there is a certain alacrity. I'm just saying it's the silver lining. It's not the dark cloud. The silver lining is that at least that this time the system has moved fast enough that in less than about 72 hours, there is a thing about not just them being picked up by on a foreign land, working with the Indian authorities, they're also being brought back.
No,
So at least
Anand,
that is
see,
happening. There are
think
times
of
when
it this
people
way,
have
right?
gone off and they're living for 20, 30 years and none is the wiser.
Think of it this way.
Yeah.
You are running an establishment,
Yeah.
right? Your people have died. 20 out of the 25 people who've died are your employees.
Correct.
Right? The first instinct that comes to
Is
you
to run.
is to run.
Pick up your bags and run.
Because you know you can.
Yeah.
Get away with it. That's why.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly, and I'm willing to wager that, some
This is
phone
not
call-
just
yeah.
this is not just a bar and disco operation.
No,
See, now
this is
look
not.
at what. No, I'll tell you why.
you're
Because there are now
40
42
Shell
shell
companies,
codes to the same address, and it's all in Northwest Delhi. Now these details will come. So
you
where
were
is this
using
money
a very
round tripping?
colourful phrase, cocking a snook at the law.
Huh.
Well, they could do it because the law doesn't exist for them. You see, they were allowed, first of all, to encroach on CRZ
Yeah.
land. Okay, these are coastal regulation zones. Okay, they were allowed to build all sorts of structures.
Yeah,
Panchayats were giving them leeway.
yeah.
Right. So for 3 years they were fattening their bellies with all this, right? Bending of the law, the rule, etc., etc. Then a fire happens. It turns out no NOC.
Yeah.
Now, are you telling me that for all of this, they got these as free favors?
No, it's not.
Think about it.
No, obviously,
So
there is-
yes,
there is a
today the
certain-
Luthras are the linchpin. But what about the others?
Yeah.
I have not seen one panchayat leader being arrested. I don't know. Have they?
No.
I have not seen one MLA of that area being called for a questioning. I have not seen any of the bureaucrats. Apparently, there is some police officer who's involved, and I'm only saying apparently. I'm not naming names because we don't have the hard
Yeah,
facts.
yeah.
Who look the other way? None of these people.
No, you know what? The
What is
first
going
time,
on?
It's the first time in 12 years. There are two instances, or 12 years under Prime Minister Modi and this government, that there are two instances back to back that hint at systemic corruption. And corruption need not necessarily be monetary. Of course, there is a financial intent, but there is also a certain level of bending of the rules and flirting with the grey areas because there is perhaps a syndicate or a cartel or grouping of people who believe, okay, I scratch your back, you scratch mine, I'll help you, you help me. And this is very blatantly seen on the system. Yes, you may come back and say, okay, there was an alacrity shown in cracking down, but those 48 hours could have been avoidable. Those 72 hours, be it in case of Indigo, be it in case of the Goa fire, this should not have happened. You have to be preventive, not about curative. So that is one part. But somewhere this aspect of corruption among the bureaucracy, corruption among the authorities, a certain level of
Anand,
is coming to the fore. And this is
I've
not good
always,
messaging.
I've always maintained this. In India, if you're rich, powerful, moneyed, have powerful friends, senior lawyers of the Supreme Court who will go all the way to the corners of Delhi to defend you, the law doesn't apply to you. Or you don't think that the law of India applies to you. To my mind, what these fellows did was smacking of arrogance. That we can do this, we can get away with it because we can. I think that's the nail that we need to
book your
hit on.
ticket and take the first flight out of the country, because once you're out of the country, it's going to be difficult for them to bring you back. Now, but here is one part, and like I said, it's still the silver lining, but I'll underline this. In the past, and I'm witness to this, where some of my friends had their relative murdered and the murderer ran off to America. Last 25 years, they've been trying to bring that person back. They've not been able to do it. Okay, so there was a time when you could commit a crime and get away, especially the
look
rich
at
and the
Vijay
elite.
Mallya, he's been gone for
Vijay
over a
Mallya,
decade
Nirav Modi
now.
and all these people. No, at least now.
just chose the right country.
I mean,
there is
the
a Mayo
Luthras
Chokshi-
probably didn't have permanent residency in the
No,
UK or in the US. Otherwise, they would have gone there.
My point is that there is at least a time now that even a nation, a neighbor like Thailand is cooperating. The authorities are immediately reacting to you and saying, okay, we'll catch this person, nab this person, and there is an intent that's coming. So at least one message is you cannot necessarily now run away and then get away from the law. But there are those who believe they can still do it. And fair. And these people, these Luthra brothers and their partner and whoever, when they say they want to cooperate and they want to do, the moment they run, like Zaka says, and I agree, the moment they run, there's two things. One, I don't care who's died. I'm going to look at self-preservation. Two, I know enough and more people who will save me if I am out of the reach or beyond the reach of the law. Now, this is something which is not done. And this entire part of systemic corruption, it's now perhaps visible, and this needs to be addressed. Agree, disagree? Tell me.
No, absolutely. I mean, there's no doubt.
No, corruption
about
in
that,
intent, corruption in functioning.
Who will actually play that role? That's fundamentally the question. I'm not seeing anyone sort of putting their hand up and saying, we take responsibility. You see, there's a diffusion at every level.
Yeah, there is. And
So all the outrage will be now channeled against the Luthras, and we'll conveniently forget. Luthras are not the only ones.
Oh,
There
no.
are a fire. I mean, look at Upahar.
No. Who are the people who empowered the Luthras, and who are the people the Luthras empowered? So
That's right.
there is a chain behind them and there is a chain ahead of them, right?
But the question is, we don't know who the Luthras empowered.
Or who empowered the Luthras? That's also
Whichever
the-
way. So we don't know.
No, but
there are no
see, the
names.
Goa, the
there are
low-hanging
no faces
fruit.
to the names.
No, the low-hanging fruits have all been arrested,
Exactly.
accused. The local
Driver,
manager,
this, that, the other.
local manager, the
Yeah.
event organizer, the local partner, they have all been arrested quickly. But who is it on the bulk of whom? Who are these 42 companies? For whom were they running these 42
Exactly.
companies? Whose money were they round tripping? Whose money was invested behind these?
Already the
persons and
person, one of their investors, is supposed to be a shadowy character, Mr. Gupta. Apparently, his brother was murdered by one of these Gogi gangs or whatever in Delhi. It was some businessman he was.
Right,
And
Goldie
apparently-
gang.
Yeah, Goldie gang, and
Goldie Brar.
he was accused of being a money launderer, so to speak, a caretaker of people's ill-gotten
Correct.
wealth. So now this Ajay has gone into jail for 7 days. I think he's in judicial custody. So I don't know what will come out. But the point is that, look, these are wheels within wheels, and I refuse to believe that 42 shell companies are floating around and no one knows about it. I mean, here we have
Again,
it.
Right.
they all come to know
omniscient.
of it after 25 people have
The
died.
ED in
25
this
people have
country, the ED in this country is omniscient. It knows everything that is happening in everybody.
No, because
Angan, but doesn't know what is happening.
You don't
with-
dust off papers, and you don't look under
Or you
this
dust
one
off
surface.
the papers that you
The
want
surface.
to dust
no,
off.
surface till the time there is something that happens. Way over time, so we're going to wind up on this. That did somebody in Indigo think that there is somebody within the government, within the DGCA, who is on our side and who will take care of things for us? Now, does that also not smack of corruption? That's saying it's okay to compromise flyer safety, or we will try and weaponize public ire to influence public policy. Well, we run out of time, but there's a lot to think about. Until next time, thank you.